Welcome back to my channel, Plot Twist Buddies. I am Brianna, and if you are new, welcome. If you are not new, welcome back. Today we are starting a reading vlog of one of my most anticipated reads of the year, and that is V.E. Schwab's Bury Your Bones in the Midnight Soil. This will be my first V.E. Schwab book since The Invisible Life of Addie, LaRue, which, according to V.E. Schwab, this is set within the same universe. So, very exciting. I am looking forward to reading this book. It sounds so good. It is about 3 different women in 3 different time periods. We've got Sabine, Charlotte, and I always get it wrong, Alice. I always want to say April for some reason, but we have Sabine, Charlotte, and Alice, whose lives inadvertently intertwine, and it is a story about female rage and independence and carving your own path. So come with me as I read this and go on this journey. And at the end of this reading vlog, I will insert some clips of V.E. Schwab at the event that I attended, and you can hear her speak about this book. Okay, let's get into it. So, book update. I am 100 pages in. So the chapters are weird because it'll go to section, and then each section will just start a chapter over, like 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. So I'm in Maria again, and she's with Sabine, and she's been seeing Sabine for months, and I suspect that's not going to go well based on what I heard V.E. Schwab speak about the other night. So but so far this has been really interesting, like seeing the build up to what is going to happen. This is definitely a slow burn novel because it's almost 600 pages. This woman, she knows how to build a story. It's been a lot of Maria, Alice, and so now we finally have Sabine, and I've not met Charlotte yet. I don't know when I'll meet Charlotte. We shall see. But this is a slow burn book. I've read this much and that much to go, so okay. But I'm really enjoying it so far. V.E. Schwab is just, I literally think of Addie LaRue like almost every single day. And when she was at the event, she said that she spent 10 years cultivating that story and then writing it. And I'm just like, no wonder I'm so obsessed with it. Like, oh my gosh. But anyway, I'm going to dive back in. It's Sunday. So I just got to 50% in Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil, and this book is so good. I knew it was going to be when I saw V.E. Schwab discussing the book the other night. Like the way that she spoke about it, she is just an artist when it comes to writing. But so far, it's really just flipped between Sabine and Alice. I'm about to meet Charlotte, I believe, in about 25 pages or so, based on what I was seeing. but I don't want to like read ahead and like spoil anything. But V.E. Schwab said that it was, like the way she described the book, it was 3 novellas in a trench coat. And yes, but it still flows so well, and I'm waiting for them all to connect. But yeah, this is so good. I can't put it down, and it's. I'm already like envisioning how I'm gonna like do the edges and make it all pretty, and because this book is just amazing. Anyway, but that is my 50-something% update. I plan on to keep plugging on, but yeah, this book it's got me sucked in. I don't think I've ever read a vampire novel quite like this, and it is very unique and awesome. Oh, goodness, guys. All right. I read Friday, I think, but I didn't read yesterday. I got caught up doing my book journal because I am 2.5 months behind. And the way I do my book journal, I'll give you a little sneak peek. But like, I make collages on Canva and like a little Polaroid, and well, because that takes so long, because I'm like really picky, I didn't read it all yesterday. At least not my physical book. I have 100 pages left. We are finishing this today. I need to know what happens. I need to know, well, yeah, I need to know what happens. So we're finishing this, and then I will give you my final thoughts on Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil, because so far this has just been a really fantastic book. This is a masterpiece. Obviously a 5-star. I'm gonna think about this as much as probably I think about Addie LaRue. This book, I don't know what I expected from this, but it's definitely, I got more than I was anticipating in such a good way. How the 3 stories intertwine, how they come together, and how at the end it breeds a new beginning, so to speak. But there are no words to how beautiful this book is and how well V.E. Schwab, like V.E. Schwab is an artist. So if you are considering reading this book, read it, like ASAP. Oh my gosh, just, I'm still processing. I literally just finished this not even 10 minutes ago, so, but it was amazing. And just, it was beautiful, and I will be rereading this again in the future. This is definitely something that is going to be worth a reread. So, this was a crazy journey following these 3 very different women on their very different but same journeys in the Midnight Soil. And wow, I think this is probably one of the best vampire novels I've ever read. And I am a vampire fanatic. I love vampires. And this one is just so unique and so different from anything I've ever read before. Whew. So if you liked this video, smash that like button, like this video. If you've read this book, let me know what your thoughts were down below. Or if you're wanting to read this book, let me know. And stick around, subscribe. I would love to have you. I just really enjoy making these videos. They're so much fun. Even though, you know, these books make me cry and torture me. And on that note, I'll see you later. Bye, guys.
Myself into all of them. Alice, the young one, the one that you'll meet here in the present day, she's my head. And Charlotte, the middle one, the one who's kind of Bridgerton era England, she's my heart. And Sabine, my lesbian villain, who's visually based on Florence Welch from Florence and the Machine. So if you need a visual, literally, you could just pull up Google for Sabine. Sabine is the hunger. So there's these 3 facets of myself, but yes, very personally, these 3 women represent 3 stages in my own queer coming out journey. Alice, she doesn't know who she is. She doesn't know who she wants to be. Charlotte knows exactly who she is, and she's terrified of it, right? And she wants to be accepted, and she wants to be loved. And then Sabine knows who she is and is unapologetic. It's these 3 eras. I'm in my Sabine era. That's the beautiful thing about getting older and gayer, is that you're like, no, I'm good here. You move, right? Like, I don't know if anyone saw Cola Scola at the Tonys, but they were asked for advice or like something to say to queer youth. And they said, yeah, you're right, everyone else is wrong, and then just walked away. I was like, there you go, have a nice moment. But yeah, these 3 women represent so much about me, but that's kind of the clearest way to say it, is that Alice is the adolescence I never got, because I came out in my late 20s. Charlotte is those late 20s when I figured out who I was, and then spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to be that person. And then Sabine is me now. Oh, I changed it. If anyone read an arc, I changed the whole last page. I didn't change the ending in terms of the plot, but I changed the ending in terms of the words. Every word. Yeah, and my publisher was so mad. They were like, why would you do that? And I was like, vibes. Endings are so important. My endings seem to be very contentious, which I find very funny. Because like, for me, the ending is the entire point of writing something. The The ending is the reason the thing exists. The ending is everything we're working toward. It's the point of every theme, every motif, every movement. I will often see the last page of my story or last scene of my book as a still frame. And then it's like, okay, an example I love to use is Gallant, which a lot of you probably haven't. Have you read? Who's read it? Okay. I'm not spoiling Gallant if you haven't read it, it's fine. But there's the last scene at the piano with Olivia and her cousin. I knew that moment. And that was like, to me, everything, if you then rewind from there, every single visual motif, every single beat, every single little thing is leading to that still frame of Olivia at the piano. In that last moment, when she's alone and not alone. And so yeah, everything's working toward that. So one of the reasons it took 5 years to figure out Addie LaRue is because of the ending. Very contentious ending, once again, not spoiling it, but I had to find the ending that gave Addie agency, because in every other version of the ending that you can come up with, Addie loses. Henry wins, Luke wins, Addie loses. And what we're not gonna do is that, okay? So it became a matter of like, which ending did I feel empowered her? And it's like, people will be like, oh, but Henry, I'm trying to figure out a way to say this without ruining anything. Henry gets it, and it's like, but it was Addie's design. That only ends that way because it's her design. It's her choice, it's her agency. So when it comes to Bones, yeah, the ending movement didn't change. But the last 5 sentences, yeah, I reread them to you backstage. I was like, here, let me show you. And you were like, this is my prized possession, my arc, and I'm like, I hope you're not attached to that last page. Real bad. But at least she's having a good time. I kind of joke that there's one thing where I think I could see myself as a serial killer if I only targeted animal abusers. Because I think I could kill animal abusers and sleep great every single day, right? So the problem is I think it's a slippery slope because I can't envision a version of that life for myself. Plus it just seems really fabulous. I mean, yes, it's hard, and I feel like I've talked about some really hard, deep, dark things with this book. It's also really fun. It's so much fun. Even when they're murdering, it's really fun. It's a romp. It just also happens to be a revenge tale, and also maybe an existential crisis in novel form. But yeah, I forgot where we were going with that. I just got Oh yeah, I'd be an awful vampire. To be honest, it's really interesting because these 3 women are so different because women are. And that's the thing, I'm like, there's 3 lesbians in it. They're real different as people. It turns out we're not monolithic. It's great. And they handle being a vampire so radically differently, but each one of them has at least one crisis that I could definitely see myself embodying. Alice is sheer denial. And Alice is the tricky one, right? So Alice is in 2019, she's 18. She's the only one of them that has pop culture. Right? The other 2 were turned before vampire novels were a thing, right? They don't have a lot of pop culture references, whereas Alice, here's what you need to understand. This happens in her first chapter. I'm not spoiling anything. Alice is 18, she's deeply anxious, deeply neurotic. She goes to a college party 3 weeks into university at Harvard. She does not like parties. She's trying to be a version of herself that does. She ends up in the bathroom at this party trying to talk herself into not leaving the party. And she says, okay, for the next hour, I'm not Alice, I'm new Alice. New Alice doesn't care. New Alice is fun. New Alice is here. She's just gonna say yes, she's gonna have a great time. She does. She meets a really hot girl, they dance, they go back to her dorm, they have a very delightful one-night stand, and Alice wakes up the next morning and that girl is gone and Alice is dead. Alice is slowly, she has no pulse, let's go with that. She's vertical, right? She's a character in the book. She's got no heartbeat. She is can't remember what happened, but evidence starts to present itself that she might be becoming a vampire. Now, I just had to think, what is the psychic dissonance that happens at that moment? Because you're exactly what Alice said. She goes, I'm real, and I know that. And vampires, she won't even say the word, because she's if I say the word, I'm making it a thing, and I don't want to be committed. And so she's I'm real, and that's not. That's bad TV and good books, right? So what is happening here? So I would be that, first of all. I would have an absolute, conundrum about it, because she's uh-oh. Am I going to lose again? But also, am I going to eat somebody? Anyway, it's fine. We'll see how it goes. And then we've got Charlotte. who is immediately guilt-ridden for everything. She's like, immediately like, do you think people have souls? Is that what we're eating? Like, what are we taking from them? Is it just a blood? Is it more? What is it? What does it mean? And then you have Sabine, who answers that with, I don't know. Because Sabine has never wondered. Because Sabine does not care. Sabine at that point has been a vampire for more than 200 years, and she's like, I don't know. Is it relevant? And I do think I would eventually become that version of the vampire, which is just like deeply incurious about that specific thing. Like, Sabine is very interested in things which interest her, which is murder, and, you know, autonomy, and also fabulous dresses. Like, she just has a really great fashion sense. But she's not really interested in like the moral implication of it. Seems a bit boring. And so yeah, I think on each of those things, I think I would have moments where I would be deeply neurotic. I'd have moments where I'd feel a bit guilty, and I'd have moments where I'm like, okay. Enticing to us for one of two reasons: because we can empathize with them, or because they are deeply cathartic. You do not need to empathize with Villanelle from killing Eve to enjoy her, because the fact of the way that she lives is cathartic. Sometimes when characters do bad things and act in ways that we know we can't but wish sometimes we could, that's cathartic. And so I think understanding the why that underpins the what is the most important thing. And what I'll often do is I'll take a character as I want them to be now, and I'll break down their psychology. And I'll say, okay, this person obviously has trust issues, right? And she pushes people away. She self-sabotages. And then you say, okay, but why? Because all of us in this room, as we exist currently, are a product of everything that has happened to our life. Everything that's happened to us and everything that we've done, how we've reacted, how we've grown. Every little crossroads and how we were treated in those crossroads and how we act in those crossroads shape our philosophy and our identity. So when you want to write a problematic or a difficult or a complicated character, you start with where they are and you try to figure out where they were that made them who they are. And you don't need to know everything, right? But you start to find the highlights and the lowlights of their life, those fundamental formative moments. And I found you don't need to put a ton of them in the book, but the rule of thumb is that the more your reader knows the backstory for your characters, the more empathy they will have for them. And if you're a writer, you can use this to your advantage. Like, I did not want characters to be empathetic with Eli and Vicious. So